I'll never back down. I'll never back down. I'll never back down. I get up when I'm bleeding. Ready, breathing. I'll never back down.
This is the collision of common sense and comedy. This is Defenders Live.
I'll never back down. Thought I was 6 feet under. But now it's your turn to face the fire.
Thursday.
Thursday's here again.
Oh, wait.
What?
Did we forget Eden?
No.
No, she's not here, right?
No, she's not.
Okay.
My bad. You didn't read the group text.
No, I wasn't part of it.
She is MIA.
Okay. I'm just making sure because I didn't set anything up and I forgot about the group texting and all the rest of it.
She and her husband are canoodling
Oh, good. They need a canoodles.
somewhere. I don't know where they're canoodling.
They can canoodle all they need to.
Yes. So she said, nah, she won't be in today.
That's fine.
Said, okay.
That's fine because tomorrow you guys will hear an interview that she presented, and she's great at it. It's awesome.
I haven't heard it, so I don't know.
No, I mean,
I'm going to assume it is just because.
no, she's been doing a great job.
She's been doing, that's what I'm saying.
So,
she's been doing awesome. So I'm
even
going
if
to
you
assume-
haven't heard it, you're going to know it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's
But
going to be
I
good.
haven't heard it, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's going to be good.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
If you say so.
It's a good job.
Yes. So anyway.
Speaking of not good jobs, Democrats are literally asking for the impossible. Again.
Haven't they always been? That's you gotta be a little bit more specific.
Oh, sorry.
You have to narrow that down just a tad because they ask for a lot of stupidness.
Okay. Democrats are now calling for the Supreme Court to be stripped of its jurisdiction over abortion. Is that more in line?
No, I mean that was very specific.
Pretty much right there.
There's a lot of questions I have about that.
Okay. So you can shoot.
Starting with who really believes that Democrats can, or that the Supreme Court can have their jurisdiction stripped?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay. Never mind. I should have known that one out the gate. My other question would be, how is it that they strip it on one thing?
See, she states that Congress has been granted authority to remove the Supreme Court's jurisdiction under Article 3.
Article 3.
Article 3.
All right, hold on. I'm going to look up.
Are you going to look up Article 3?
Because I don't know what Article 3 is.
Okay. All right.
And I'm curious.
Sure. Yeah.
And apparently opening extra pages. That's
Yes, you
cool.
are. You're doing that as well.
The things. So, let's see. Article
For Peekapoo, it says Biden is the worst.
3.
And it's a sausage. That's what his shirt says.
No, it's not a sausage. It's a bratwurst.
Right.
Get it?
Sausage.
The
Worst. Last time he wore that shirt, we were twinsies.
Yeah. It's almost like a joke.
It is a joke. Article 3, Judicial Branch. There we go.
National Constitution Center.
There we go. Section
1, Section 2, Section 3.
Okay, so there's 3 sections, and she said Article 3. So Article 3, she didn't say which section.
Okay. So Article 3 has 3 sections. The first one, Section 1, the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court.
Okay.
And in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish.
Okay.
The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office.
Okay, so Section 1 of Article 3 states that Congress can divvy up however many judges and judicial supremacies they want.
Right.
But there's nothing about judicial authority in there. Continue on.
Section 2. Section 2 may actually be like the counter to all this.
Okay.
Section 2. The judicial power shall extend to all cases
All cases.
in law and equity
Huh.
arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and the treaties made, or which shall be made under their authority. To all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls. To all cases, admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. Sorry, I can't read that. To controversies to which the United States shall be party. Controversy between two or more states, between a state and citizens of other states, between citizens of different states, citizens of the same state, claim lands and grants of the different states, between a state and basically they have the right to literally do everything.
So they have full jurisdiction over everything under the law.
Right.
All cases.
Yeah, because there's
All cases.
There's like two more paragraphs, but yeah, to sum it up in a short one,
it's all cases.
All cases.
All cases.
Now, Section 3, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on testimony of two witnesses of the same overt or to the same overt act and on confession in open court.
Okay.
Congress shall have the power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attender of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture during the life of the person attainted. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all.
So I'm really confused as to where.
Maybe she.
I hope so, because she
clear that
sounds
up
like a moron.
She is a moron.
True.
Yeah. So she said that, and then she continued on saying, to protect marriage equality, contraception, and more, we need to limit the power of the far-right court. That's already overturned Roe v. Wade. In a letter sent to the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and Senator Majority Chuck Schumer, multiple Democrats call on the leaders to exercise Congress's constitutional power under Article 3 to, quote, include language that removes the Supreme Court's appellate jurisdiction over the such legislations.
Now, I'm really confused because I pulled up Article 3.
And we just read Article 3.
We just read Article 3. I don't see anything in here whatsoever that has to do.
Go down. Let's make sure. Okay, so Section 2. What's the second paragraph in Section 2? Let's make sure we're right.
Okay. The third. Well, it'd be the third one actually. In all. Yeah, that's the second one or the third. In all cases affecting ambassadors, public ministers. Exceptions. Trial of all crimes except in cases of impeachment shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held by the state and where the crimes is said shall have been committed, but when not committed within any state, the trial shall be in such a place or places as the Congress made law directed. That's it. That's it.
Okay, so
I'm confused. And it doesn't take much to confuse me, and I'm really confused right now. I don't understand this.
Swedimus Prime over there on the Twitters. Holy at Dylan Lyle's hair, Batman.
Oh, I know. Have you not? Wait a minute. How did you not noticed?
I think it's just the fact that you don't have it tied.
Oh, yeah. I was getting a headache.
It makes sense.
Oh, I just let it down.
Yeah, got to let it all hang out.
Come on, every now and again, guys, you just got to let your hair down.
All right. Quote, Congress can instead assign executive appellate jurisdiction to another federal court, such as the D.C. court.
Oh, yeah. Well, by God.
Now, see, here's the thing. Congress can make as many justices and courts as you want.
Uh-huh.
But the Supreme Court's job and the job of all justices, not just Supreme Court, but every court, every circuit, everything.
Everything.
Is to decide if something is constitutional or not. So you cannot take that away because You're talking about a law based on the Constitution that says that the courts, i.e. the Supreme Court, has what? I'm sorry, can you go back to the
very top up here?
Scroll up a little bit right there.
Right here where it says it
shall extend
to
in
all
all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the law of the United States, treaties made and which shall be made under their authority. Every law, every pass, every treaty is under the jurisdiction of the judicial power to be tried on whether or not it is constitutional.
Yeah. Now, you're right, going back to the thing, the Supreme Court could say, hey, we're not going to and defer it to a lower
Circuit
court.
courts.
They do it all the time.
Right. They could say, no, we're not dealing with that. Just go back to whatever the law
But they didn't, and they've made a ruling.
Yes.
Therefore, there isn't a flipping thing you could do.
Right.
Nothing. You can,
Nothing.
nothing can be done now.
Right.
Again, one, it wasn't a law.
Two, it's an opinion about something that wasn't a law.
Yeah. So like,
And by wasn't a law, meaning it was something that we treated as a law. That's the reason why our judicial power was put into place, because we treated it as a law.
yeah.
And
it's a law.
it
Like,
was a court case originally tried by the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And it went right back up the chute again. You just, again, you can't advocate and push to have the government do things that it can't do.
It's not allowed under the Constitution. Of course, nobody knows that anymore. The Democrats in Congress can literally just, anytime they want, can just say, oh, well, Congress has the power to do that.
Because here's
Because nobody pays attention.
no, here's the thing. If let's play the what if game.
Okay, if then.
That was actually possible for the Supreme Court to do that, then there was literally no point in having the Supreme Court.
Right. Well, and also you need to understand the Supreme Court is the weakest branch of the government on purpose. Congress, you can in fact, at this very moment, disregard whatever they said. You can.
You could.
You can.
You could.
At this moment. I'm not giving you permission. I am telling you it is an option. Why is it an option? Because our Constitution dictates that an opinion of a court and a justice does not equate to law.
It does.
It is just saying whether or not it is constitutional or not. Now, if you decide to do something unconstitutional and somebody else decides to take you for justice, then it's your fault.
Is it now?
Yes. So here's the thing. Once again, Trail of Tears. Our Supreme Court ruled that as unconstitutional.
They did.
Yeah. They said
did.
no, that it is unconstitutional to do that to the native people who lived here.
Andrew Jackson said,
Yeah, he said, if y'all, and I'm going to do it anyway.
"Look what I bought at Walmart, 2 for $1."
It's called Trail of Tears.
One day someone will write a song about it.
Right. It doesn't matter. All it does is give people a viewpoint. It gives you a place to look at and say, okay, what was the jurisprudence? What was the idea? What was the foundation of that? Okay, is it constitutional, yes or no? If it's yes, then you have all rights in the world to make a law. If it is no, then you have all rights in the world to make a law that will then be fought tooth and nail
Yep.
by everybody else, and it will have the backing of the opinion of the Supreme Court. Okay? That's the only difference. You can still make the law. You can still sign the law into action. You can still do a lot of things. But what you can't do is take away the only thing that they have jurisdiction on.
You can't take away their power. Again, to sum it up, if you take away their power, then they have no power. So there's no point of it being there.
Right.
So later on down the road, when, say, I don't know, there's a Republican president.
Right, yeah. And he does something that you don't
a
like.
Republican majority and things like that, and everything's in play. You won't have a leg to stand on then.
Right.
You know, it's almost like the founders kind of knew what they were talking about when they put all this together.
Right. And they,
they
having 3 separate branches.
but equal branches.
No. Don't add that.
There's not equal? There's not separate but
they
equal?
are not equal.
What? But
there's absolutely no equality
we
in
have
the.
heard this for so
Yeah,
long.
and
It's
that's a
separate but
lie.
equal.
It's a lie of the devil. They're not equal. They're not equal. Okay? Technically.
So what should I say? Equal but separate?
No.
Oh, so the order doesn't matter.
Separate and also divvied up in power. That is what it is. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No.
But it's true.
it doesn't.
But it's true. Think about it, okay? The legislative body holds the most power when it comes to making law and in reference to law.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Anything that refers to law,
Right.
the legislative branch has the power.
Yeah.
When it refers to acting on the law, there's your executive branch.
Yeah.
And then way off to the side, because you have these two people talking about one makes the law, one does the law. Then you have this guy over here, and it's the Supreme Court. And that guy is like, he's off to the side, just like, hey, that you can't do that. Don't. It's like that neighbor that yells at you for like for cutting his half of the yard or something. Like,
Which I always thought.
you say you mow the lawn at a late hour.
Okay.
And he complains.
Okay. Now, see, you changed it up because I was gonna say I've met people who get upset about that.
I have too.
It's like, why are you mad that I did
Your yard.
Your yard.
Yeah. But no, like,
It doesn't make sense.
think about it. Like, okay, the Supreme Court is basically the neighbor that yells at you for mowing your yard at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't do that because it's rude. And he's yelling at you because it's rude.
You know that gets done over here, right?
Yeah, I do.
Because I've left out of here like 11:30.
I know.
I'm like,
and
what
that,
in the actual
for
hell?
some reason, there's a business over there.
It's
and
the funeral home.
No, it's not the funeral home.
It is.
Well, I mean, the funeral home does the blower and stuff, but the one right behind us is not a funeral home.
No, I know that. No, I'm saying I know that they're doing the work at the funeral home.
They're doing that one. But
It's
no,
the funeral
there's
home
also
that's getting the
a yard company that comes in the middle of the night that's right behind our house.
I've heard that one too.
To the
Yeah.
business right behind our house. Yeah, that one. No, it's not whether or not that person is just, hey, you shouldn't do that.
It's not nice.
It's not nice and it's not good. That's the Supreme Court. Executive act, legislative right, Supreme Court complains. That's their deal. Which one has the most power?
I wasn't listening. Can you start it over again?
No. The legislative body has the most power. That's what I'm telling you. The legislative body has the most power because it is the represented republic of the people. No. So we held the power in the republic, and then we have a figurehead so that everybody around the world knows, hey, look, there's at least one person up there that can execute all the laws under their rule. Mm-hmm. And what we've done over the past 200 years is we've allowed the executive branch and the legislative branch to merge too closely. Like, the executive branch has decided to take a whole bunch of powers away from the legislative branch, just kind of slowly ease ease it out. That's
Yeah.
executive order this, executive order that. Just ease it out.
Okay.
Milking it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Milking out the legislative power. And the legislators aren't doing anything to stop it.
Yeah.
Now, the Supreme Court could say something.
Yeah.
Supreme Court could say something. They could have an opinion on it, but it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't change anything.
No.
It could say, hey, that's unconstitutional. You don't have the powers or rights to do that. But guess what? The executive office could still do it because the Congress has to write a law to stop the executive office from doing it.
I don't understand what's so difficult about all this. The problem that I have with it is that AOC, I swear to God, every time she opens her mouth, just gets dumber and dumber and dumber.
Yes.
Advocating for stupid stuff like this.
Yes.
And again, they only want this just on this ruling.
Yes, they just want it on abortion.
Which,
But then next time when they rule something in a way that they don't like, they'll say, no, we got to take that away too.
well, yeah, that's the downside to it is once you set that precedent, it's over. It's done.
It's just an ongoing
You
cycle.
can't, again,
You're upset. We get it.
Roe v. Well, why are you upset?
You're upset
Why are
because
you upset?
You're upset because you can't legislate the idea that women can just kill their kids no matter what.
Not even, but
Excuse me.
hold on.
Birthing people. Birthing people.
People of birthing ability.
Yeah.
No, like you could still. They didn't abolish it. You can still have an abortion.
Yeah.
All you have to do is keep it in your state.
That actually does the abortions.
But that's what I'm saying. You get your state to say, we're going to do it. And that's what they'll do. And they'll be fine.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, they won't. The moms.
They won't be fine.
The babies,
The
will be
babies
dead.
will not be fine.
They'll be
They
dead.
And they would have been moms.
Will be distraught.
No, they won't.
Some of them do. Eventually.
Yeah, you say that, and yet they just had a hearing where a woman came out as a witness to abortion and saying, it was the best thing I ever did. It was an act of self-love.
Well, you know what self-love would have been? Would have been not to have gotten pregnant.
It would have been, self-love would have been what you did to ignore the boyfriend.
I'm busy.
Ignoring the boyfriend and giving yourself self-love.
True.
And then you wouldn't have gotten pregnant.
See, I just want to throw this out here. The stupid remarks that she's made just about this alone should be enough to have everyone in New York have her removed from office.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because you obviously have no clue about how your own government works.
Obviously not. And the amount of Democrats that have signed legislation or signed a petition to create legislation. They didn't even make legislation. They just signed a petition.
Yeah. That doesn't work.
And the fact that they don't know the Constitution, they don't know the Article 3. Look, we had to look it up, okay?
Yeah.
Why? Because we're not fresh up on every article of the Constitution. Sometimes when people bring stuff up like this, we have to go look it up. Why? Because it's easier to look it up than to argue with stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you can even when you have the facts, arguing with stupid is just painful.
Exactly.
It's hard.
So it's faster, it's easier, and it solves the situation.
Yeah.
If you just look up the info. And so whether we know it or not, just look up the info. We have it verbatim here. You know?
This is totally off topic, but I
Yeah.
just realized the sounder we need to have.
What's that?
That's what she said.
The really annoying version of it?
I don't know. One of them from, I don't know. I figured,
You're talking about Steve Carell.
yeah, just
from The
pick
Office.
one.
Yeah, any of them.
Any of them. Doesn't matter. Maybe we'll have like a couple of different ones and just have it on the list and just randomly just click.
We could do that.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Adams once said, "But a constitution of government once changed from freedom can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever." Nearly 250 years after Adams famously wrote those words to his wife, have you been left wondering if liberty is indeed lost forever? Many people are feeling that way, and who can blame them when they hear things like,
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.
with talk like that, maybe liberty is dead.
And now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there.
Or is it? From the people behind the #1 critical thinking podcast in the world comes Reviving Liberty, a podcast experience unlike anything you've heard before. Join your host, Andrew Coppins, on a path towards rediscovering what liberty is and how we can apply it in today's age of darkness and tyranny. Get ready for a liberty mindset in your life. Andrew will be with you soon, taking the first steps on the path toward reviving liberty with you. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and engage with the show by visiting revivingliberty.com and follow Andrew on social media at The Coppin Show.
This is Defenders Live.
It's been a while since we spent an entire, like, half the show on one topic.
On one thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, so the wife had she decided she was going to make this cilantro and lime rice.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, it tasted okay.
Now it's not.
Now there's a film in my mouth. And
So-
it tastes like...
cilantro does that to me too.
It's not just cilantro. It's
No,
like-
but it does that to me. Like I get this.
it was like almost like a coconut oil feel
Oh,
to it, to the entire rice, and now there's like a film inside my mouth.
it's all
I can't
gone
get
bad.
rid of it now.
Your coconut oil's gone bad.
Yeah, I think so.
It's gone.
I didn't use any
bad.
coconut oil. I wonder if she did. I don't know. Anyway,
I mean,
I didn't even eat a lot of it because after it got cold, I didn't like it much. It's okay.
It's filmy.
That was weird.
It's filmy.
So Texas is asking all Tesla is asking all Texas-bound customers to avoid charging their electric vehicles
Okay.
during certain times of the day, as the Lone Star State is currently experiencing massive heat waves that is straining its electrical power grid.
You don't say.
Yeah. On Wednesday, The Verge reported that Tesla recently sent a notice to the screens inside of the Tesla vehicles in Texas,
Okay.
saying, quote, "A heat wave is expected to impact the grid in Texas over the next few days. The grid operator recommends to avoid charging during peak hours, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., if possible, to help statewide efforts to manage demands."
Okay. It didn't Texas have kind of an issue?
Last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last summer.
Yeah.
The,
Because they rely on wind.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't know what
now-
progressive dumbass decided to transition all their power to wind and solar, but
What was his name? Was it one of the Castro boys that did that? The one from Houston?
Oostin. One of the Oostin.
The Oostin.
Right.
You're classy if you don't say the H.
Right.
Toby McAvoy over on Twitter. I'm impressed that you keep pronouncing Congress with the double S instead of the more authentic but confusing Congress.
You know, in type font, that's how they would do it.
Yeah.
You know, back when they
F
first
was
had the
an F
type,
looked like
when
an
they
S.
first had the typewriters, they did it FS, and I don't understand why, other than the fact that they only had one S on the type block, and so they had to put another S there to make the print, and so they put an F.
Peekapoo, Snarky Jackhole.
Yeah, go ahead.
Over on Twitter. If you develop the film in your mouth, will it be a photo of what you ate?
I'll tell you later. In fact, look at this photograph. Every time it makes me laugh. Sorry.
Ew. That's just nasty.
Do you like seafood?
No.
Okay.
I know where this is going. And I'm not stupid.
I could still get the kids with that one every now and again. On Monday,
Really?
the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, or
Jesus.
ERCOT, which operates the state's power grid, asked residents to conserve their energy between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. local time by not using heavy appliances during the time frame, right around dinner time. So don't use any heavy appliances during dinner. Don't use your stove or your oven.
Well, if you have gas, you're fine.
Right, if you have gas, it's fine, yeah. But I'm saying,
I mean,
don't wash your clothes.
well, you have all day to do that.
Not really. Depends on when you get home.
Not necessarily.
And if you're on the weekend, I mean, you could be doing the entire day.
Yeah, but it said to just not to do it during supper time. Well, what happens if you eat supper at like 12 o'clock? What if you're on like swing shift? Or
What if you
third
like
shift?
supper in the morning,
Right.
supper in the evening, supper at breakfast time?
What if you're in the mood for an afternoon delight?
I was going to go with pizza on a bagel, but sure. It's bagel bites.
Bagel pie.
Texas uses a mix of fossil fuels and renewable energy to keep its electrical grid running. Not very well.
Not very well, sadly.
When major heat waves move through the state, which it does often in the summertime because it's Texas,
It does get hot there.
wind power is often decreased due to the change in pressure in the atmosphere.
Really?
Yeah, so the higher the heat, the less air pressure,
Fancy.
the less wind.
Really? The less wind?
The less wind.
Okay.
Yeah, less the wind.
Uh-huh.
Thus, the state's wind turbines are failing to produce the necessary amount of energy to keep the grid operating without significant problems. Remember the time in the wintertime when they
Yeah,
got the
that's-
fans?
Frozen?
Their turbines froze.
Yeah, I remember that. I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking that.
You know, the funny thing is, like, around that same time, I was basically in the Midwest,
Right.
and I was hanging out with the Roo.
I remember.
Up in that time, and it was frozen solid out there.
Real solid, you say?
Solid, except for the turbines, because they had a whole bunch of wind farms out there too, and those things were still turning.
Yeah.
Like the cold air didn't bother them.
Because I don't think it was. I think it's like any other place.
They're made for a specific temperature.
I think they're maintained by a certain group of people. And what I mean by that
And the
is the
maintenance.
same problem that happens here.
Right.
You know, you can't drive up and down certain roads during certain inclement weathers because they don't know how to take care of
The roads.
roads.
At all.
during snow or sleet or what have you.
Ice
Because
or anything.
it doesn't happen too incredibly often.
No, it doesn't.
And so most of the folks around here, especially the DOTs, have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, and that includes the highway.
Right.
But life is a highway. Anyway.
No. No. Just stop it.
Texas has experienced similar issues in the recent years due to extreme weather, including winter storms.
Yeah.
The state so far has been able to avoid rolling blackouts during the latest weather calamity, weather calamity? It's not a weather calamity. It is normal Texas weather.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
You planted wind turbines in an area that has massive drought potential.
So basically you're saying they put wind turbines up in places that would at least have the chance of having wind.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And folks are shocked that it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. People start to jackal. Greenies call them renewables. I call them unreliables.
You know what's renewable? Everything.
Not everything.
No, everything.
Almost everything.
Okay. Give me an example of a non-renewable energy. I'm waiting.
I'm getting there.
Still waiting.
I'm getting there.
Waiting still.
I had to get back to you on that one.
Doo-doo-doo.
We don't have time for that. I had to get back to you.
Okay. All right. Give me an example, anybody out there, of a literal non-renewable energy. Something that without a shadow of a doubt cannot be made, cannot be created again. I'll wait.
James on Twitter. I've seen front-wheel drive police cars with snow chains on the rear tires down here in the South during the winter. I've seen it too.
That's good
actually.
times. I've seen 4-wheel drive trucks left out in the snow in a ditch while I drove in my front-wheel drive vehicle in snowstorms. I drove past all of them laughing. I was like, ha! Look at you dummy.
Har.
Look at all you dummies.
Yeah, dummy.
I was trying to drive to work when that happened.
Slap your mama.
I was trying to drive to work. I lived in Henderson at the time, and I had to work in Raleigh. And they didn't say that we were out of work because I didn't know what the weather was like in Raleigh, but I knew in Henderson there was 3 inches of snow.
And you had to show up.
And so I started driving very, very early because nobody said anything. And then about 2 hours after the time in which I was supposed to be there, while I was driving incredibly slow.
Because it doesn't take 2 hours to get from Henderson to Raleigh.
No, but I was driving at like 10 miles an hour because that's as fast as you can go in the snow.
That's true.
Like an hour after the hour. Yeah, it was about an hour after my time was supposed to be there. I got a text from the boss like, hey, by the way, we're not going to work today. I was like, great.
You tell me.
Now I got to drive back home 2 hours and somehow make a U-turn on the snow. That's great.
That's a grind. Totes what I wanted.
So magic mushrooms have long been considered a very serious drug.
They have.
Very serious.
They have.
Seriously. Federal government puts them in the same class as heroin. It's in the same class. It may not be, but it's in the same.
The federal government said it.
Federal government said.
I was going to ask a stupid question. I was going to ask if you had ever had shrooms before.
I have never. Never have I ever. I
would have to drink on that one. Damn it.
I was intentionally straight-laced growing up.
No, I got you.
I know, it's weird, right? It's weird. I know, me, straight-laced.
Not
no. Yeah, not at all. Right. Anyway. But apparently the shrooms, the magic mushrooms, have been catching on in an odd place.
Okay. Playgrounds.
No, but close.
Churches.
No, but also close.
That would be funny. I don't know why
it would
but,
be, but having a pastor tripping his ass off while he's also trying to give a sermon.
Standing on the pulpit freaking out because sees a pink Tyrannosaurus sitting on
He
some lady's
literally
head.
sees an angel coming
and it's
down.
a hat. No, you never see. No, here's just, as someone who has done.
I've never, so I don't know. You go ahead.
I was going to say, it's somebody who has partaken. My experience, and been around people who have as well, it's you don't exactly think of and see things as they are.
Mm-hmm. You see things that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Not as they are, but as they shouldn't be.
As they shouldn't be. As anything but what they are.
Right.
Because the last one I can remember. That was the night I saw Santa Claus.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
Because it was on Christmas Eve.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So I saw Santa Claus.
You saw Santa Claus.
He has a rebel flag underneath his bottom of his sleigh, just so we're clear. Makes all the liberals very happy. But no, I had one buddy who so we were at at a friend of ours' house, and they had, this was 20 years ago, like a kind of a mid-sized dog, a mutt. But you know, not a big one, but a kind of a dog. And one of the guys that was there, when the dog come around the corner, and he'd known this dog, you know, he loves the dog. Dog was coming up to love on him. He saw it as a pink Tyrannosaurus Rex, that little dog height.
Mm-hmm.
Little Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not little. No, he was mid, like my dog, like the bigger dog.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. To the point, like, and when I say he was freaking out, like he was freaking out to the degree that they had to put a blanket over his head, and my buddy's wife had to like literally cradle him until he came down.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was not good.
See, these are things I don't want to experience.
Well, I mean, no, we had another situation where they had.
I don't want to experience this stuff.
They had, like normal people have linoleum in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to replace mine so bad.
When another friend of ours that was there that night, when it hit him, all we heard in the kitchen was just stuff falling down into the floor. It hit him, and when he looked down at the linoleum, he saw it as just kind of like this open pit, because carpet was solid ground. The pit or the linoleum was not. He saw it as a hole. So he's literally scrambling and walking on the counter, jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to get back.
Almost floor is lava.
Yes. Floor is lava in a not as fun way. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tripping balls. Floor's really lava.
It's so sad, but true.
No, apparently it's catching on in suburbia.
The Jesus of suburbia?
No, the shrooms of suburbia.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently.
Because they're really easy to grow. All these hippies are growing their own gardens, and they're just.
That's sort of kind of that way, but here's kind of the thing. So, back in the day, in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, what was Mommy's Little Helper? Was the name for the alcohol in the house. Mommy's Little Helper. It was
Mommy's Little Helper.
Yeah. And then in the early 90s, that turned into, what was that antidepressant?
Crack.
No, antidepressant.
Xanax.
Prozac.
Oh, Prozac.
Yeah. Prozac, Xanax, whatever. Same thing.
Same thing.
That was Mommy's Little Helper. Now, moms in communities in San Diego are microdosing on mushrooms.
Microdosing.
So they're taking little nibbles.
Hold on. So how are... Now, I've never microdosed.
You don't know what a
So I
microdose
have
is.
no idea what I know what a regular dose will
You know
do
how to
to
dose,
you.
but microdose.
Yeah, a regular dose, I know what that does to you. I mean, being a psychedelic, I know what it will do to you.
Yeah.
A microdose?
Microdose. Just kind of giving you a little beep.
That's weird.
Yeah. Quote, it's so necessary for some of us to be out and forward because we need to move the needle.
Is it?
We need help.
Uh-huh.
And we need to help give permission to other mothers, to fathers, and other families. Said a woman identified as Michaela, according to the local CBS affiliate, which published a story headline saying, quote, microdosing magic mushrooms, a growing trend in San Diego moms. Ritalin was before Prozac. There you go.
Yeah, but I thought Ritalin was what they gave the kids.
It is now.
Oh, I didn't know they gave it to the adults.
Thank you, Jesus, for this food. Didn't I? Quote, so in microdosing, people takes a small dose of various forms. It could be pill, gummy, chocolate, whatever.
Really?
Yeah. So, quote, so a dose that would give you a classic psychedelic effect would be anywhere between a gram to 5, 6, 7 grams. And so microdosing is just a fraction of a gram.
Yeah, and again, I understand this. What I don't get is just what sort of an effect are we talking about?
So
Because again, I know full dose effect.
apparently this has helped her get off of her alcoholism.
Well, duh. When
She said that
you
she's-
trade one crutch for another crutch, it's very easy to move from said first crutch.
She said she struggled with alcohol addiction and claimed microdosing helped her stop drinking. Quote, I've heard that mushrooms can combat addictive behavior patterns. So I wanted to approach it head on.
I heard that mushrooms combat addictive behavioral patterns, so I got addicted to microdosing 100.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, you know what? I need to quit smoking. I do.
Yeah.
It's not good for me.
It's true.
So maybe what I'll do is just take up crack or meth.
Or
Maybe.
crocodile.
I don't want to eat nobody's face.
No, you wouldn't do that. You just slowly deteriorate and become a zombie.
Or that too. That too.
Where your flesh would necrotize and all the rest. Anyway, say, quote, more people than you could possibly imagine have an in-the-closet relationship with mushrooms.
But it's an hallucinogen.
Psychedelic.
Yeah, it causes you to see things that aren't there.
But microdosing can give you the boosted effects of elevating your mood while not giving the psychedelic effects of tripping your ass off. Potentially.
Allegedly.
That's what they say.
Okay, no, keep going.
John Hopkins Center for Psychedelic and Conscious Research said that, quote, decreases in depression and even in cancer patients, decreases in depression and anxiety that are seen as soon as 6 months of starting to microdose has happened.
Are you dying of cancer?
No.
No, I'm saying if you're dying of cancer,
Here's some shrooms.
here's a little bit of microdose on these shrooms.
Yep. Here's some shroom gummies.
Right. And what will happen
Is you'll be happier about dying of cancer.
Right. You
Yeah.
will suddenly not give a flying fig. It's really weird.
Yeah. Oh, so James, I know. I did say it makes you look like a zombie.
Yeah.
I know crocodile makes you look like a zombie because your flesh necrotizes and falls off.
Yes.
Whereas bath salts make you eat people's faces off.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Thank you for playing the home game.
Right. I agree.
Peekaboo, microdosing mushrooms. Is that what you do to prepare for a dirty job?
Yes.
He probably would.
He would eventually, maybe.
Like,
well,
this junk is
no,
gnarly.
I don't know. Micro, probably not.
But maybe.
Maybe so. But probably not.
Well, but maybe. But probably not.
Yeah.
So,
Finally,
President Joe Biden supports abortion.
yes.
Oh, we were supposed to go on. I was waiting for... President Joe Biden supports abortion,
Yes.
but he says he's Catholic.
Okay.
Oh. My pausing for effect is not working. During an interview aired this week by Univision, Pope Francis addressed the issue when he was asked whether it is right to administer Holy Communion to politicians who openly promote abortion. The Holy Father first cited science as affirming, quote, a month after conception, the DNA of the fetus is already there and the organs are aligned. There is a human life, end quote. As for Biden, Pope Francis said that's for him to square for himself. Quote, I leave it to President Biden's conscience, and that he speaks to his bishop, his pastors, and parish priest about the incoherence.
Because it's not coherent with being a devout Catholic. But then again, there's nothing coherent about being a devout Catholic.
No, there isn't.
There's really not.
It's kind of weird, actually.
It's like, so I will come out and say that I am not.
You're about to come out?
I will come out and say that I am not a devout Baptist. Not a devout Baptist. I have alcohol.
I don't know how I can. I don't know how we can remain friends.
I have alcohol. I cuss.
I don't know how I can be friends with
Not
you
a devout Baptist.
I don't know how I can be friends with
I know,
you
right?
anymore.
Right?
I
Right? I know.
I'm shocked by this. You guys, I'm totally
You are guffawed.
shocked.
Mm-hmm. That being said, I'm also not a Catholic.
Yeah, but
But I have more ideals that are closely related to the same ideals that Catholics have, like the religion of Catholicism has, than regular Catholics.
it worked. It worked. This one is Prime over on Twitter. The pausing for effect keeps making me think the stream froze.
He was doing it on purpose.
Anyway.
It's exactly what he wanted.
Biden is a professed, quote-unquote, devout Catholic, yet he supports the legalization of abortion at the federal level, which is clearly contrary to church dogma.
Yes.
I don't think it's more than just dogma, but...
Whatever.
Excuse me. The president met with the Pope back in October 2021, sitting down with the pontiff for about 90 minutes.
Just a bunch of old guys talking to each other.
Two old white dudes just chilling.
That's it, man. That's all it
That's
was. That's
all
all it
it
was.
was.
There was nothing else going on. They were talking about the grandkids or something.
Biden kept asking him if he could wear the hat.
So what? He was looking around for somebody to sniff at the time.
Baby. No, he just wanted to prance around in the hat. That's all he wanted to do.
very true. Well, he can't prance. He would scuttle.
He would shuffle.
Shuffle.
He'd scoot. Quote, did the issue of abortion come up at all? A reporter asked. Quote, no, it didn't. It came up. We just talked about the fact that he was happy I was a good Catholic and keep receiving communion, Biden said.
Then you're not a good Catholic because you're receiving communion after committing a sin.
No, Did the issue Did the issue of abortion come up at all? No, it didn't. It came up. We talked about the fact.
So it did.
It did.
It did come up.
Yes, it did.
It came up.
Right.
Right.
So did he.
But you didn't follow through.
No.
Okay.
But hey.
But you're a good Catholic because you receive communion.
You're such a good guy.
Even though you don't make do with God beforehand.
No. Which, you know.
I mean, that's whatever.
Not for me to judge. Just saying. Adam W. Johnson over Twitter. I can't keep the signal for the show while I'm in the women's locker room. I'm going to leave that sentence where it is.
Good job. For the rest of you, we'll either see you on the other side or tomorrow night.
Bye, y'all.